welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the core argument of one of the most influential books ever written, Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species. So, let's trace his logic step by step to see exactly how he built a case for a theory that would literally change the world. For centuries, the sheer diversity of life on Earth was this profound puzzle. And after his huge voyage on the HMS Beagle, Charles Darwin basically dedicated his entire life to solving this mystery of mysteries. We're talking 2 decades, just patiently gathering and thinking about any and every fact that could possibly shed some light on the question. And then the race was on. Spurred by Wallace's findings, Darwin had to rush to publish his life's work. He presented what he called one long argument to the world. So the question is, how did he build his case? How did he put it all together? To solve this massive mystery, Darwin's approach was kind of like a detective's. He knew he couldn't just start out in the wild jungles or the deep oceans. Nope. He looked for his first crucial clue somewhere much, much more familiar. A place where change wasn't just visible, but completely deliberate. And that place? Well, it was the farm and the garden. He started by studying what he called variation under domestication. The incredible changes that breeders and farmers and pigeon fanciers had created right under everyone's noses. He had a hunch this world held the key. And the differences he saw were just dramatic. Darwin was fascinated by pigeons. He argued that all these bizarre domestic breeds, you've got fantails, pouters, barbs, they were all somehow descended from just one ancestor, the common rock pigeon. So how on earth was that possible? Well, Darwin saw that these breeders could work like magicians. Think about it. By consistently selecting individual pigeons with just a slightly fuller tail, or maybe a slightly shorter beak, and then only allowing those to reproduce, well, over generations, they could dramatically change an entire lineage. What this established for Darwin was foundational. It was huge. It meant that species are not fixed. They are variable. And this process, which he called artificial selection, has the power to produce immense change. This was his first big clue. And of course, it led to a really powerful question. If humans could do this, could a similar force be at work in nature? So to find nature's selector, Darwin looked for the engine of change. And he found it not in some guiding hand, but in a relentless reality that every single living thing has to face, the universal struggle for existence. You see, he realized the world isn't some peaceful, abundant garden. Every living thing is in a constant battle. Populations are kept in check by limited resources, by predators, by climate, and by disease. It's just a relentless, unforgiving numbers game. And this isn't just some abstract idea. Darwin actually went out and measured this brutal reality himself. In one experiment, on a little patch of cleared ground, slugs and insects wiped out over 82% of the seedlings almost immediately. This just revealed an intense, constant competition for survival at every single stage of life. Now, for Darwin, this struggle wasn't just about direct combat, a wolf fighting another wolf. No, it was about any factor that determined which individuals would survive and, this is the most important part, succeed in leaving offspring. That was the ultimate prize in this game. Okay, so now Darwin puts the pieces together. If there is variation in nature, which the breeders proved, and there's a constant struggle for existence, what's the logical result when you smash those two facts together? Well, the answer was pretty clear. Those individuals with any slight advantage, any variation at all, that made them better suited to their environment, maybe they're a little bit faster, a little stronger, have better camouflage, or are more resistant to drought, they would have the best chance of surviving and passing those winning traits on to their kids. Darwin illustrated this with a really clear example. Imagine a population of wolves. Now, if their prey, say deer, becomes faster over time, well, only the swiftest wolves are going to eat and survive. They are naturally selected for survival, and they pass that swiftness to their offspring, slowly, changing the whole population. He called this process natural selection. This was it. This was the missing mechanism. It was nature's equivalent of the breeder's guiding hand, but it acts over these immense spans of time, with no goal, no consciousness, simply preserving what works. Now, Darwin was a brilliant strategist. He totally anticipated the objections. He knew what people would ask.
How could a blind, undirected process create something as complex and seemingly perfect as, say, the human eye?
And he just meets this challenge head on. He actually admits it. He says it seems absurd in the highest degree. By acknowledging how difficult the idea is, he builds trust with his reader before he even presents his explanation. It was a masterstroke of argumentation, really. His answer was built on reason, not on some wild flight of imagination. He argued that, look, even a simple nerve that's sensitive to light is better than nothing at all. And from that starting point, any slight modification that proved useful, like a small dip to focus the light or a simple lens, would be preserved. And so over millions of years, a complex eye could be built step by tiny, advantageous step. So after establishing variation, the struggle for existence, and the incredible power of natural selection, Darwin was finally ready to reveal his grand conclusion. What is the ultimate result of this slow, constant process acting over the vastness of geologic time? The ultimate result isn't some linear ladder of progress, with humans sitting comfortably at the top. No, instead, it's a vast, branching tree of life. And this view means that all life, past and present, is related. We share a common ancestry with every single living thing on this planet. And suddenly, all these weird things started to make sense. The uncanny similarities between a human hand and a bat's wing, the patterns in the fossil record, the existence of useless leftover organs, it all clicked into place under this one single unifying theory. Nature was no longer a collection of static things. It was a dynamic, ever-changing story.
In the end, Darwin's dangerous idea wasn't just about how life changes. It was about giving us a new, more profound way of seeing the world. It invites us to see every single creature not as some finished product, but as a chapter in an epic, ongoing story of survival. And it leaves us with a pretty humbling question. If this single, simple law shaped all of life's past, what is it shaping right now?